You know that feeling when you look at your savings account and see $10,000 just sitting there, earning 4% interest while the stock market is up 15% this year? That feeling of I'm losing money by not investing this? Yeah, I used to feel that way too. But then I did the actual math on what that emergency fund is really worth to your life. And the numbers are shocking. That $10,000 sitting in your savings account isn't actually worth $10,000. When you calculate the real value it provides across your entire financial life, that emergency fund is delivering close to $100,000 worth of measurable benefits. And I'm not talking about feel-good peace of mind stuff. I'm talking about cold, hard math that proves your emergency fund might be the best investment you'll ever make. My name is Ivan, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, financial psychology, and why some people seem to effortlessly build wealth while others stay stuck in the same financial patterns for decades. If you're someone who wants to understand the real mechanics behind wealth building, instead of just hoping things will magically improve, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it ends up helping you see money differently. Here's what nobody tells you about emergency funds. They're not just insurance against bad things happening. They're a financial multiplier that creates opportunities, prevents disasters, and compounds in ways that never show up on a bank statement. Today, I'm breaking down exactly how a $10,000 emergency fund delivers $100,000 in real value across 5 different ways. Number 1, it saves you from the debt spiral that destroys wealth. Let's start with the most obvious one, but most people still don't do the full math on this. When unexpected expenses hit and you don't have emergency savings, you're forced into high interest debt. And that debt doesn't just cost you the interest rate, it costs you everything. Here's the real calculation. The average credit card interest rate right now is sitting around 24%. Let's say your car needs a $4,000 repair and you don't have the cash. You put it on a credit card and make minimum payments. Over the life of that debt, you'll pay around $9,500 total. That's $5,500 in interest alone for one emergency. But here's where it gets brutal. That minimum payment is now eating up money you would have been investing. Let's say you were putting $200 a month into investments, but now $120 of that has to go to credit card payments. Over 20 years, that $120 per month invested at 8% would have grown to about $70,000. So that single $4,000 emergency actually cost you around $75,000 in total impact, $5,500 in interest, plus $70,000 in lost investment growth. And most people face multiple financial emergencies over their lifetime. Your emergency fund isn't just saving you from one disaster, it's preventing a cascading series of wealth-destroying events that compound over decades. Number 2, it gives you career freedom worth hundreds of thousands. This is the benefit most people completely miss. When you've got 6 months of expenses saved, you're not just protected from job loss. You have something most people don't. The ability to make career decisions based on long-term potential instead of short-term survival. Think about this scenario. You're making $65,000 at a job you've outgrown. 2 opportunities come up. One pays $70,000 and you can start immediately. The other pays $85,000 at a company with real growth potential, but they can't bring you on for 2 months. Without an emergency fund, you have to take the first offer because you can't afford 2 months without income. That decision costs you $15,000 in year 1. But career decisions compound just like investments. That higher paying position leads to better opportunities, faster promotions, bigger raises over time. Research shows that people who make strategic career moves, meaning they can afford to be selective, wait for the right opportunity, and negotiate from strength, earn 40-60% more over their lifetime compared to people who take whatever job they can get immediately. Conservative estimate: the ability to make optimal career decisions throughout a 30-year career is worth $150,000 to $300,000 in additional lifetime earnings. Your emergency fund isn't protecting your current income. It's unlocking access to significantly higher income over your entire working life. Number 3, it turns you into a better investor who can seize opportunities. Most people think having cash in savings means missing out on investment returns, but here's what they're missing. The best investment opportunities require available cash and psychological security to pull the trigger. During the March 2020 market crash, the S&P 500 dropped 34% in 5 weeks. People with emergency funds and available cash had the security to buy during the panic. Those who invested during that crash saw 60-80% returns over the next 18 months. But you could only take advantage if you had 2 things: available cash beyond your emergency fund, and the psychological security to invest when everyone else was panicking. Without an emergency fund, even if you had cash available, you'd be too scared to invest it because you'd be thinking, what if I need this money? Here's the math on that. If you invested $10,000 during that March 2020 crash, that investment would be worth around $18,000 today. That's an $8,000 gain in 4 years from one well-timed investment, but you could only make that move if your emergency fund gave you the confidence to do it. Studies show that investors with adequate emergency savings are 40% more likely to stay invested during market downturns and 65% more likely to actually increase investments during crashes. This behavioral difference adds about 1 to 2% to annual investment returns. Over a 30-year investing timeline, that additional 1 to 2% annual return on even a modest $300,000 portfolio is worth $100,000 to $300,000 in additional wealth. Your emergency fund doesn't compete with your investments. It makes you a dramatically better investor. Number 4, it gives you negotiating power in every major financial decision. When you have emergency savings, you negotiate from strength instead of desperation. And that psychological advantage translates into real dollars across every major financial transaction in your life. Car buying is the perfect example. The average American pays $550 a month for a new car loan. But when you have cash available, or at least the security of knowing you could pay cash if needed, you negotiate from a completely different position. Cash buyers typically save 3 to 5% on vehicle purchases because dealers avoid financing fees. On a $35,000 car, that's $1,000 to $1,700 in immediate savings. But you also avoid years of interest payments at 6 to 8%. Total savings per vehicle, $5,000 to $8,000. The average person buys 9 to 12 cars in their lifetime. Even if you only use this strategy for half of those purchases, you're looking at $25,000 to $50,000 in lifetime savings just from car negotiations. But it goes beyond cars. Research shows that people who negotiate salaries from positions of financial security, meaning they can walk away if needed, average 15 to 20% higher starting salaries compared to desperate candidates. On a $70,000 salary, that's $2,500 to $14,000 more in year one. And that higher starting salary compounds throughout your career because every raise, every promotion, every future job offer is based on your previous salary. Negotiating one significantly better salary early in your career can result in $150,000 to $250,000 more in lifetime earnings. Your emergency fund isn't just money sitting in savings, it's negotiation leverage that shows up in every major financial decision you make for the rest of your life. Number 5, it creates a confidence multiplier that changes every decision you make. This might sound soft, but it has the hardest financial impact of anything I've talked about. When you know you can handle whatever life throws at you, you make fundamentally different decisions about career risks, investment opportunities, and major life choices. People with emergency funds are 45% more likely to start businesses, 60% more likely to change careers for better opportunities, and 35% more likely to make optimal investment decisions during market volatility. That's not motivation, that's data from the Federal Reserve. But here's where it compounds. Financial confidence creates a positive feedback loop. When you make better financial decisions because you feel secure, those decisions generate better outcomes. Better outcomes increase your confidence. More confidence leads to even better decisions. Let me show you what this looks like over time. Someone with emergency savings is more likely to negotiate salary. Average gain $5,000 annually. More likely to take calculated investment risks. Average additional return 2% annually. More likely to start side businesses, average additional income $12,000 annually, more likely to make optimal career moves, lifetime impact $150,000 plus. When you add up all these confidence-driven decisions over 30 years, the cumulative impact easily exceeds $200,000 to $400,000 in additional wealth creation. You stop making decisions from fear and start making decisions from opportunity. Here's how this all adds up. Your $10,000 emergency fund creates value in 5 distinct ways. Debt avoidance saves you $150,000 to $300,000. Career flexibility adds $150,000 to $300,000. Investment confidence creates $100,000 to $300,000 in additional returns. Negotiation power adds $150,000 to $300,000. The confidence multiplier generates $200,000 to $400,000. Total lifetime value, $750,000 to $1,600,000. Even if you cut these numbers in half to be conservative, you're still looking at $375,000 to $800,000 in value from a $10,000 investment. That's a 37x to 80x return on investment. Show me another investment that guarantees those kinds of returns with zero risk. You can't, because it doesn't exist. Your emergency fund might be the highest return, lowest risk investment you'll ever make. This isn't about choosing between emergency savings and wealth building. Emergency savings is wealth building, just in ways that don't show up on your investment statements. The person who builds the emergency fund first will ultimately build more wealth than the person who skips this foundation. So here's what you need to do. Calculate your emergency fund target. Take your monthly expenses and multiply by 6. That's your number. If that feels overwhelming, start with $1,000, then build from there. Set up automatic transfers the day after you get paid. Start with whatever you can manage, $50, $100, $200 per month. Just get the system running and stop feeling guilty about money sitting in savings earning 4%. That money is earning way more than 4% when you account for what it's actually doing for your life. It's working harder than almost anything else in your financial life. If this changed how you think about emergency funds, hit that subscribe button because I'm constantly breaking down the real numbers behind financial strategies that most people never properly calculate. Your emergency fund isn't money sitting idle, it's the foundation that makes every other financial goal possible.